Welcome to the Carpet Cleaning Success Podcast. AI Marketing Experts is your backstage pass to the future of marketing. Hosted by a powerhouse crew of AI-savvy entrepreneurs, including John Clendenning, this weekly show unpacks the tools, trends, and real-world applications of artificial intelligence in digital marketing.
Welcome to the AI Marketing Experts Show. I'm Jen Krigo with Margot, where we help aesthetic and wellness brands earn the very, very best clients in their area. And I'm here with my favorite marketing buddies. And we're here to help small businesses use AI to grow. So everyone knows that AI moves lightning fast. So today we're doing another episode about top tips, sharing our best and brightest tips that you can use right now, whether in your marketing, in your business, in general. Today we're doing a little bit more of a general look with these top tips. So with that, let's get right into it. So, John, do you want to start us off with your top tip?
Sure. This is going to be a fun one because the crowd here knows that I am, we politely want to use the word thrifty. So that's not what the family and friends call me, but anyways, we're thrifty. So I have a free tip that I am loving right now. I talked about it. I might have talked about it on the show, but I've talked about it to friends and family when Nano Banana first came out, how you could actually access that for free. And I've gone deeper. So there is a tool called LM Arena. It's an open source project to pit different LLMs against each other. It's free. It includes agents. It includes it's Claude against Gemini against whatever. So you have the choice of battle, or you have the choice of just direct chat. But it uses all of the video models. It uses, well, actually, I'll tell you about the video in a second. But it uses all of the image models and thought models, and you can compare outputs. So because we've talked a lot on these podcasts about, hey, well, ChatGPT 5 is becoming, it's making us swear like a trucker. And then Claude was having a bit of a problem, and then they kind of seem to streamline it out, and you have to change the way you prompt, and then all of a sudden people jump over to something else, and it's like Gemini is working better right now, and all that kind of stuff. What if you just went to LM Arena, typed your prompt in, kept the battle on, chose two different models, and see what came out? And there's no cost to it. There's no monthly fee or anything like that. It is an open source project. The cool thing is, all the kids, I like to say kids, but all the gamers are on Discord. Well, LM Arena's on Discord as well. And you can build a bunch of images and then take those images into the Discord, and all you do is put a /video and ask it to basically turn the image into a video. It compares two models. Everybody sees it, so it's not private, but everybody sees. And it takes say you took I want to look like here's a picture of me. Put that into LM Arena. Make me look like Indiana Jones at the top of a mountain. The volcano blew up. You do the next one. I'm running away from the big rock, or whatever it is, and then eventually I am opening up a chest and or doing something, and say you want to turn that into a video of yourself running away and open up a chest, and then you can magically have an offer for your audience or something like that show up, and it's kind of all funny and make your own little commercial. Well, you take those 3 or 4 pictures over to the Discord and get it to animate them, and it'll put it'll put like a video model, like the VO and the whatever, against each other, and the latest one, because it's trying, and you're supposed to vote. The whole idea is to find out which one's working better, and it's all open source right now, but you can use it and not have to pay for, like one of friends of ours that we were talking about, Julia McCoy, who was talking about how she was $488 a month in all the different LLMs and stuff like that before she kind of sunk things down into one choice. But this is another way of doing that for not the power user, but the light user. So I just thought a thrifty, free way to use all the models and compare the outputs as well.
Nice. I love that.
What do we think, guys?
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you need to connect your API on the back end to do it, or it's just it?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And if you run into limitations, just go into incognito window, close the window, open it again, and do it again.
Love it. That's a great tip.
I'm going to have to rewatch this show later and do that.
Who's next?
Is this a contest? Do I win? Do I just get the
no contest?
No. We'll see how it goes. We got lots more good tips coming
do
up.
this ninja hack style here. Yeah.
Yeah, ninja hack.
Yeah, I can go next. So as you guys know, I use Manus quite a bit, right? And I use ChatGPT. I bounce back and forth in between all these different ones, in between Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and now Manus, right? And so Manus, if you're not aware of it, Manus is an agent style. I wouldn't call it a full agent, but it can do a lot of really cool things. And it's just been getting better and better lately. So as an example, and I think I shared this a couple of weeks ago, I had Manus go out and buy baseball tickets to the Astros game. You know, I put that off, kind of a thing. It went out there, completely researched. I gave it a budget. It researched and did everything for me. Okay. What I've been doing the past couple of weeks, I shared with all of you guys here, right? But all of y'all, actually, I shouldn't say all y'all. I shared that with all y'all. But so basically, I've been using it to program. Okay. And I knew that it had that feature. That was one of the very first things that I tried out with it. If it could program this idea for me, and it created it, what I wanted it to do initially, and I'm talking like a year ago, it created my idea and put it into a full application that I could just upload as like a PHP style, application. Well, I went back to it with an idea a couple of weekends ago, because it was kind of a weekend project for me. But I went to it and asked it to program out a WordPress plugin for me, right? To help me with something to speed me up in the marketing world. One of the big things is creating landing pages. The other big thing is creating blogs. So I gave it the parameters of, I want it to be able to put in our API key and give it a few things and create landing pages for me. And I used my main prompt that I use anyways, for that, and gave it to Manus, and Manus built it all into the plugin. Anyways, long story short, it actually created this entire plugin for me, which is amazing, because if you know anything about programming, if I were to program that, it would take me years, because I'm just not a good at programming anymore. I used to be, but not so good, and especially with WordPress programming and all that kind of junk. If I were going to pay someone from Upwork to do this, we're talking $5,000 to $10,000 minimum, right? And probably months and months of back and forth. I achieved this with the plugin that I shared with this group here, just to kind of, test out. Showed it to Jen this week, right? It's kind of cool.
Yep.
Anyway, so within really just a few basic hours of me going back and forth and copying and pasting the code that it was giving me into text editor, and then re-uploading that plugin, each time, and a whole bunch of iterations, probably about, at this point, 100 different iterations, because I keep coming up with ideas for it. That's the other thing. I'm like, oh, well, what can we add this? And it goes and adds it. Right. So the latest is that I've got it to where now you can add your own prompt, right, in for those landing pages and plugins. So if you don't like my prompt, you can go in and change it. Okay. So a little bit of adaptability there in order to achieve your goals and creating pages and blogs and all this kind of stuff that we need as marketers anyways. But my point is that this opens up an entire new world that wasn't there really even a year ago in my mind, that we can now use AI to program out the ideas that we have sitting in our head, that we're like, I don't have a spare $10,000 to go pay someone to go do that. So
that's crazy.
Just the time to explain it to someone, and
yes,
you get it that much closer to what your ideas are when you
Mhm.
have the time and you have the space to do that versus taking a team member saying, hey, could
Right.
you kind of walk through this and tell me what are your thoughts? So you get it so much closer to be able to hand over to someone on your team to take it to the finish line if you feel that that's what you want to do. So that's
100%.
fantastic.
And I shared with
Yeah.
Jen this week, I've got an idea for something even bigger that's going to be even cooler. Right. And I'm not do a spoiler alert here, but leave a cliffhanger for y'all, but it's going to be huge, I think, in the marketing world for us. So, and I'm going to share with, of course, all you guys, but
That's awesome.
yeah.
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 Yeah. That's great.
Good stuff.
Since you're talking about Manus, I'll go ahead and jump in. This wasn't going to be my first tip, but I think that it just piggybacks. If somebody's like, well, I'm not really wanting to code, it's more that I want to sit back in, focus on marketing, because as business owners, we need that outreach, finding our prospects, and taking ourselves from the mentality of everyone's going to be a client of mine to, okay, I want to go ahead and let's get to our more ideal customer profile with that. And that's what I use Manus for. And I guess when you've been talking about Manus here the last few weeks. Yes, it's been sitting on the, kind of the sideline for me, had not used it as much, but then I circled back around and went back. I think it's an ideal tool to have it do that deep research about your ideal client profiles. And again, start with that basic question and provide it the information as to who you would like to work with, who would be that ideal customer, and let it go out and do the research for you and come back and then ask it to go again and pull more additional information, so that instead of working with a massive list, you can start going and weeding it down, 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 so that when you're making those phone calls and adding the human touch to it, you have time, you have the mental capacity, your calendar has breathing space that you can have that one-on-one conversation with someone that is closer to becoming an ideal customer. So, like I said, if someone's not into coding, that's another way to use Manus, to let it do 80% of the work and the 20% come back to you, where you have that capacity to work and answer the potential clients' questions.
Good. That's good.
Very cool.
I'm going to jump in based on we're talking about different LLMs or paid softwares or what have you. And one that I think is pretty powerful right now that I think could really help business owners they may not even be aware of because it's not as mainstream is GenSpark AI. And so with this one, you can use it for free, but I recommend even the $24 a month plan. I can't remember if on the free you get unlimited chats, but definitely on the paid plan, you literally have unlimited chats. And the thing is what it can do is when you're in this software, you can use any of the main ones, whether that's Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, what have you. But the cool thing that I like about this, let's say you're really learning AI, you're getting started, you're like, okay, what can this stuff do? I don't want to run through a bunch of credits and get stuck with a big bill. If you go to this unlimited chat, you can ask it, anything that you want, and you can try any of the LLM models you want, but you can also click a button that says mixture of agents. You can also click the button right next to it that says, use the web. And so it's insane when you watch this thing. I showed it to my wife the other night, where when you do that and you ask it to research something or to create something or whatever it is, all of a sudden it's like just going crazy because it's searching all these different platforms and it's gathering all this information in real time. And again, it's unlimited. I don't know how long that will go. I think I heard at least till the end of the year. But you really can't go wrong with unlimited chats, being able to use all the different platforms one by one or a mixture. And when you're doing a mixture, it's leveraging what it thinks is going to get you the best answers for what you're trying to create or find out or what have you. So it's using its own brain, I would say, to leverage the different models to get you the right answers. It's super powerful. So check it out.
That's fantastic. So I have a tip too about using a different LLM for a different reason. So typically, I spend most of my time in ChatGPT because that's where I can share the most things with my team. But when you're working on any kind of a project where you're trying to use the chat, the LLM, to kind of talk you through it. I don't know how common that is for people outside of marketing, but I'm sure that there are good reasons to do that. But in ChatGPT, I was having to do screenshot, upload, because it kept telling me like, oh, do this. And it wasn't saying the same things that I was seeing. And then I started getting kind of preemptive and just giving it a screenshot so that it wouldn't tell me anything until it saw what I was seeing. And I have so many screenshots. It's like I'm getting daily notifications from iCloud that like I need to buy the $10 a month plan because it's full, and it's all because of my screenshots on my desktop. So I was trying Claude, and Claude has built-in screenshots that it just takes a screenshot and puts it into the chat, and you can add whatever it is, whatever message that you want to about it, but it doesn't go to your desktop. It's not like a multi-step process. You just click screenshot, and then you get to click whatever it is that you want to do. It sped things up for me so much, like saved me so much time. I highly recommend it when you're really trying to work through something and you know that you're gonna have multiple steps where you need the LLM to really see what you're seeing to be able to give you accurate information.
Or if you're doing something and you get an error, like it's always been just take a screenshot of that error message and then paste it in there. And so that I use a tool called ScreenRec, ScreenRec, little add-on. So it doesn't save it to my desktop, it saves it to ScreenRec. And then you do get those messages going, your ScreenRec, your free account, because of course I have a free account, is getting full, right? And it's like, okay, well, let me go back and get rid of like 1,000 screenshots I've taken. But yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's a lot of times that you just want to go, I got this error message or this out, whatever. And you just want to next screenshot, keep moving. Like when Chris is building WordPress apps and stuff like that, I'm sure there was a lot of screenshots going, well, that's screwed up,
tons of
right? Can you fix that, please? Right. So,
Yeah.
Yep. I've used ScreenRec for a while since John recommended it, and the free version works just fine.
Well, now I'm going to have to look that one up.
Anybody wants to know the free version of anything, just message in the chat, find us wherever, ping us. I have a whole list.
Absolutely. Yes.
Can you spell ScreenRec again?
Yeah, screen and then REC at the end. Just ScreenRec.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It can do video too, but I mainly use it for screenshots.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
Nice. It'll just be nice to not have screenshots in my desktop, because there are so many times where I'm taking a screenshot because I need it. I want it. I'm going to have to refer back to it. But then it gets lost in the sea of, screenshots from like these temporary projects. And so I just had to finally go back and delete all my screenshots from like 2023 and older. Just get rid of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So who's got another tip?
Tips you got, Laura?
The other tip.
Laura's ready.
I think it's just because it's a reality check. We're in the last quarter here of the year. And, with EOS, this is a time that we pull out our VTO sheets. And for those who don't know, basically it is a way that as business owners that we plan what projects that we want to move forward. And yes, it's always, you say it's a great thing always to use pen and paper to get that out of your mind. But I thought, what about, let's do a custom GPT. And so that has made a world of difference in the fact that again, have that conversation. You get a chance to talk about the rocks and then break it down to pebbles and then to sand. And so we are going to do a webinar next week on this. But it really made a world of difference to have that conversation and then basically say, okay, if these are activations rock, how does that work across our activation team? And so now we're able to take that, break it down so that we know that we'll be able to move that one thing forward. And I think that that's just, again, pick whatever AI tool that you like. Have that conversation. Think about 2026 or the next year. How are you planning it out? What are you going to do in what we say bite-sized pieces to make it go forward? So you have, we think of it as rocks. What's the big plan? How we're going to break it down? How we're going to break it down to daily. So here's the quarter, month, week, day, and per team member. So if you don't even want to do that, just think, what's the one thing you want to move forward next year? Have that conversation with your favorite tool, AI tool, and say, okay, but what can I do today that impacts it and moves it forward so it makes a difference? So I just encourage business owners out there to get ready to do your planning, because next year's going to be here faster than we know it.
That's the truth.
Yeah, this wasn't going to be a tip of mine, but I think it dovetails right into that. So I had help from another person running EOS as well, like the ops manager of another agency that we know. And so I got connected with him because of a mastermind. There's a tip in itself. Everybody should be in a mastermind. But anyways, and we were sharing EOS stuff, and he said, "Oh no, I have my EOS implementer. I've built out all the files." So to what you're saying, Laura, the other side of it is, if you are doing those planning sessions, whether you use EOS or not, if you upload documents and data and Google Sheets, hit the little plus if it's in, like if you've got your Google Docs connected, and you fill it up full of stuff in a chat or in a project, and then say, hey, review all of the stuff I've just uploaded. Tell me, now with ChatGPT 5, I just make sure it actually doesn't just decide, oh, you gave me some stuff and I don't even care to look at it, which is kind of weird, but it does. But so you say, review all the stuff I've just uploaded. Tell me when you've reviewed it all. I want to have some conversations about this, right? That's what I find I just do. And it will go, yes, I've reviewed it all. And you go, okay, well, at least and it gives you a summary that it has actually. And you go, okay, now I believe you. And let's start having these. Now I want to do this. Now I want to do that. Now I want to go from rocks down to pebbles, down to sand and all that. Like whatever. And now you can have these conversations at a deep level as well. So use the tools, but also feed the tools your data and information. And what comes out is just like light years better, because it's got context, not just your voice, but actual reams of documents as context.
Yes, I'm glad that you brought that in. And we're even recommending that as that you start with reflecting on this year or a previous year. Look at what has been done well. And that, again, goes to what you can feed in. So it has that history. It has, again, as we talk about all the time, it has your voice, your branding, what's your message you want to take forward. So you just don't want to start with, let's have a conversation. But if you have never done it before, that could be at least your one thing to get you moving forward, that you have a plan for next year. But I thank you for adding on to that tip.
Absolutely. So one thing that I think is pretty crucial or helpful for people is we live in an AI world of overload right now, where it's like there's so many tools. I mean, last week, Sora 2 came out, and all these other ones. Gemini keeps putting out, Google Gemini keeps putting out new video tools, and same with ChatGPT, and they always have the latest and greatest version. And so, like, even for me, it's like, okay, well, I don't necessarily know the difference between these different models and what's the best and what's going to consume 90,000 credits and send me the biggest bill. And so this is kind of a two-parter, but one thing that I think is really cool is there's an aggregator called Magi, MAGAI.co. It's a very powerful aggregator, meaning it's more of like an all-in-one. So even though, like I mentioned, GenSpark, you can pick the different LLMs and what have you. Magi is something where it's very simple, it's very clean to use, and you can pick the different models. and even the latest ones, whether that's Sora 2, which everybody's clamoring over, let's get this latest video tool. So they come in quickly. The guy that put it together, he's very cutting edge, and he's always improving it. And one thing that he really talks about is privacy, which I think is a big deal. So that's a pretty powerful platform. It's worth checking out. It's about $20 a month, and so inexpensive. And the other cool feature that I like about it is I am not a prompt engineer. I guess that's a term these days, right? I'm not the best prompt writer. I can wing it and put in something that might make sense to me, but it might spit out something that's not necessarily amazing, right? But this has a little feature in there called enhance the prompt. So while you're in there, and let's say you're trying to create a social media post or a blog post or whatever it is, and you're trying to just put in a basic prompt about what you're trying to do, there's just a little button there that says enhance prompt, and it knows enough based on what you put in there to make it way better, but you still have the ability to add to that, to modify this enhanced prompt. Maybe it didn't get it exactly perfect, but you're like, oh, wow, this is way better. Let me just tweak these 2 little words or whatever. And now it's going to produce a much better result based on what you're trying to accomplish. The other thing about it is it has a lot of pre-made avatars or agents that are trained to be a health coach or a content writer or you're writing about ministry posts or whatever. There's probably 30 of them in there that are pre-made that you could just pick them. And now it's got enough sense in there to push you even further along. So again, you're not just looking at a blank screen and you're not just looking at ChatGPT going, what the heck do I do or something. This has so many pre-made features in it, and they're enhancing it and developing it all the time. And you can create your own. So you can create your own personas. You can create your own client personas, if you're an agency like us. But if you are, if you're a business, you can create your own that knows about your business, right? So that way, when you go to create content for social, for video, for blogs or web pages, whatever it is, it has that brand in there that you have fed the information to, so you don't have to keep putting it in there every time. So it's got a lot of cool features, and like I say, it's pretty inexpensive. One thing I will warn you about, like some of them, even though you have access to VO3 and Sora and Kling and all these really heavy-duty video creators and what have you, there's still a token system, so to speak. So don't just think, okay, I spent my $20 a month, I can just go crazy and create all these things, because all of a sudden you're going to go, wait a minute, I just burned through all the credits for the month or whatever. Of course, you could buy more, but just be aware that there are limitations. So it is a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning to say, okay, I want to test this out. I heard about this. I want to test it out. Test them out, but just be aware that there's some limitations.
That's a great point.
Great.
And I do think we're these aggregators, as good word for them, Brad. These aggregators are going to become more and more important as well. There's a couple of YouTubers that we were sharing around that talk about, again, like the one Julie McCoy, $488 down to 10 or $20 or whatever. A lot of our conversations, if you guys have been following the podcast, you hear that we're talking about going from this tool, like Laura talks about using Claude for this and Perplexity for that, and then ChatGPT for this, and Brad likes his Gemini and his GenSparks, and I love Notebook LM for certain things, and then all the different video models, and they're constantly changing and they're constantly whatever. So again, like the LM arena, these aggregators become more useful. And as soon as as they have team plans and stuff like that, it makes sense for multiple people in a business, but even just for yourself, that you don't need to know which one's the best, because the aggregators, as Brad said, are being trained. Pick the best one you think for this one, right? Or again, in the LM arena, pit the two together and see which one came out better for you. You get used to this stuff, but it's better like if you're not a power user or going really, really deep, or you're a single person and you're going to be using all the tools yourself, then look at the aggregators for sure. Go check them out, see which one you might be resonate with, because it probably is going to move you a little bit farther ahead, unless you're trying to share custom GPTs or projects, or like if you're just doing your own work yourself. Again, some of these have share features coming up and team features anyways, but I think the world is going to be, I don't have to pick my poison. I don't have to pick my LLM. I don't have to pick my thing. I just have to ask my question and let it go find the best way to answer it. That's the next iteration that's coming down the pike anyways. So lean into that a little bit.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I mean, Magi does have a team plan, and I agree with you. I mean, why try to reinvent the wheel? Why have 10 different subscriptions when you really don't need to?
So here's my question with both of those, that you brought up, Magi and LM Arena. Are you able to train those on your company, your personality, your employees, any of that kind of stuff?
You set up a knowledge base and all that stuff, and have your master prompts and all of those things as well still. Okay.
Yeah. Because that would be my only drawback on anything like that, is that you're constantly reinventing the wheel. It seems like, with that, as opposed to like at, Claude, you can upload your entire master prompt of yourself, what you want, and constantly tweak that master prompt too, kind of a thing. So that's pretty cool that those two can both do that as well.
And a couple of other ones on the market. Poe's been around forever. I think you had Poe before. You're the one that told me about Poe, Brad. I think 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. And then there's another one called Chat LLM. It's Abacus or whatever. Again, but those are all sort of, and you can go do a comparison, try them all out, do the whole, if they've got 7 days free, whatever, see which one resonates with you. See, but again, there's a group of aggregators coming out now, and they're all trying to do this where they pay the subscription on the back end. They give you those limits, as we said, on credits. But you're not paying individual subscriptions that you never might get the full value out of, because they cover it, and you're getting more than you would out of maybe your $10 or $20 a month plan. Not quite as much as your $200 a month plan on Google or on ChatGPT and stuff like that. But whoever uses that much anyways, like literally, I know a few people that have the $200 ChatGPT plan, and I think they just wear it as a badge of honor because they don't use it any more than I do. So,
well, this might be a little controversial, and I won't take up a bunch of time. But one thing that the founder of Magi has mentioned about privacy is a big thing. Now, we already know, using different LLMs that are from different countries or whatever, they're spying on us. There's no doubt about it. They're using our data that we're putting in there. But what Magi is saying is they are very much more pro-privacy. And when I actually looked into the pro-privacy the other day, because like John said, I've used it for probably a year and a half or longer, I looked at the privacy stuff on that, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. They're kind of looking at everything. And I was like, I have it on my phone and my tablet. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe this is...
We share your data with third world countries, so that you're going to get spammed for the rest of your life is probably right in their private, just cover their butt.
It was a little surprising.
It's completely opposite. You are not private at all.
Oh, granted, I'm still using it for now, but we'll see.
Yeah, that was supposed to be not Microsoft Teams. The team plan on ChatGPT as well is that there was by going into Teams, it's not training you're paying that little bit more, and again, you pay to play. You pay a little bit more, and they lock it down. So it's great to hear that Magi is doing that, because Poe isn't, and it's worth checking if Chat LLM or any of the other ones are doing. I guarantee you, the LM Arena is not. The LM Arena, anything you put in there is for the world to see, because they're comparing models, and that's the whole plan behind it, right? So if you're looking to do privacy stuff, then yeah, I don't think LM Arena, my suggestion would be the bet. You're not uploading credit card statements and spreadsheets about the company, but if you're doing just prompting and stuff like that, by all means. But again, even to Chris's point, then you definitely need to make sure to use a tool right. You need to have that master prompt built out well. And how do you build a master prompt? You go into ChatGPT or your favorite LLM and say, hey, I need to build a master prompt. What do I do? And let it help you.
That was actually a tip that I had kind of noted along those lines that, and no matter what platform you're using, if you just ask it to help you write the prompt, it really does give you a much better prompt. And of course, you're not going to do that for every prompt that you need, but if you're doing it for something that that's important, or if you're going to be using the prompt on a regular basis for recurring kind of jobs that come up or tasks, then ask the LLM to help you write the prompt. And all you have to do is talk to it or type it, to really tell it like what is the outcome that you're looking for, and be as specific as possible. John and we were meeting the other day, and John was, I was hanging out and watching him while he was typing a prompt to, I forget exactly what it was for now, and just seeing the way that John prompts and that how specific, John, that you were, it just helped remind me, like, there are probably ways that we can all get more specific, more, give the LLM more context than we think it needs. And every time it improves. So
you're saying that my motto, why say a thing in a few words that you can say with far too many words, if anybody knows me, it just comes natural. I'm in an Irish family, but yeah, I prompt the way I think and talk. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of words, and I just give it to chat as well. Like, we're going to have this conversation, or we're going to type it out, and and it rambles, but it gives it enough context. So
yeah, it works. Any other,
Laura?
I think that we've hit on another like underlying topic is, if you haven't used a tool lately, go back and see how it's improved or how it's changed. Because the one thing I was thinking about when you were saying about, go into more detail, there's different levels on ChatGPT, and I think people don't realize that you can put it in expert. You can put it in, explains and execute.
Study guide I just used recently for the first time. Yeah.
So there's different ways that if you just take the time to go and see what the new features are, hit the plus, hit the 3 dots and see what's there. It's amazing because, as Brad had mentioned, some of the systems have, examples already set up, and just using some of the examples so that you weren't going there for healthcare or a fitness guy. But if you click something that they have already set up, it may inspire you of going, wait a minute, I could do something like this for agriculture. I can do this for my business. So look at some of the examples, because there's a reason why they're there, and they're obviously going to make sure that they're well built and thorough. So that was the big thing that I was thinking is, look at the latest features. And we got to think that, again, we're the architect. Okay, we don't have to build the engines of it, but to John's point is, we want to be as specific so that the engine runs, or as Jen was saying, we want the output to be there, that we provide those specifics. So return to some of these systems or softwares that we have not opened in a while, such as, when I went back and tried Manus, and it had been sitting on my shelf. Like I said, it's very impressive as to what they're doing, how easy things are becoming. Oh, and even with the rollout, I was listening about how ChatGPT can now work with and integrate with systems. You can just call it in without leaving. Now, so the example they were given was Canva, being able to call it in if you have something specific that you can call Canva into your, and so I know we were always saying Canvas when we wanted an actual document between it, but you can bring your Canva in and have a graphic generated for you. So again, a new feature that is rolling out, that if you haven't been in ChatGPT lately, you may not be unaware that those items are there.
And that was part of their MCP, so fancy word for we connect to other stuff, right? So, and so they've come out with their Canva and a bunch of, and I think Salesforce. And there's a couple, like I saw that there's a small list. Spotify. Hey, I'd like a playlist that sounds a lot like, you know, pick a band, right? Whatever. I was trying to think of one that Brad would like, but my brain's Five Finger Death Punch. I don't know. I'm guessing. Anyways, but pick a band and give me a playlist that's similar to this music, right? And it will, and you call in your Spotify, it will build you a playlist over in Spotify, right? Kind of cool. So what they're saying, that was all just released recently on one of their OpenAI days, but what it opens up is that everybody else can be writing. Now, apparently Chris can as well, if he wants to write code for us, MCP servers for their stuff. So this is just the tip of the iceberg beginning, because then you're going to be able to go to other platforms and say, oh, can I assign this MCP app back into my chat GPT? And because chat's going to start opening up that sort of marketplace playground now, which they kind of tried to do with custom GPTs, never really took off. But I think this is the iteration that will. It's sort of like the MCP servers on all these different platforms. The coders are just writing them like crazy now, so that you can bring that in and bring that in, bring that in. So yeah, so it's just going to keep expanding from here.
Yeah, and a few months ago, that was several steps. We had to take several steps to get that connected. And now, again, they're simplifying it. So a lot more, it's going to be opening up a lot more doors.
So here's a pretty epic tip for everybody, since we're talking about, based on what we're talking about, is first of all, one of the best tips I could recommend is to subscribe on YouTube or podcast channels to AI marketing experts.
That's right.
Because you're going to learn a lot from us each week, right? It's a huge tip. But on the flip side of that is, where do you think we learn a lot of things? YouTube, right? I go to YouTube probably every night, and I'm sitting there on my tablet and I'm like, okay, wow, I didn't even know that OpenAI put out all this new stuff. I didn't even know that this came out. I mean, there's a lot of cool people out there that are much smarter than me, that are putting out new content daily about the latest and greatest. And they're showing you step by step a lot of times on how to use these tools for best practices and different things like that. So follow them. And then I've shared this on the show before too. If you have YouTube Premium, which I do, you can hit a little button. There's a little button right below the video. On 95% of videos, it'll say ask. You click that button that says ask, and then from there, there's another little button that says summarize this video. And so it'll use AI, and it'll real quickly make you a summary of what's in that video. And you're like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to watch this 15-minute video. Or, no, I don't need to know all that stuff. That's way over my head. Or that's not pertinent to what I need to know. Right? So it saves time.
That's an excellent tip.
Great tip.
Great tip.
Epic.
That's right. Epic.
Yeah, they're changing so fast. Like, so again, the other thing that ChatGPT kind of quietly rolled out, if you don't know, if you're not ear to the ground following this stuff, is sort of their N8N Zapier make.com killer, as they're calling it. Who knows? Like, that's just, but it's now visual workflows in their AI agent model, right? So now you can actually build, like, so N8Ns and things like that are ways to connect a whole bunch of stuff and then get some logic to run and then do something else. So, hey, when I put this keyword on a new line in a spreadsheet, that triggers, go do this, go do research, go do this, go over here, go into Perplexity, research it, go into Claude, do this, write it, and then create a blog post, and then run it through my editor or proofreader to AI to make sure script that's right. And when you got it right, post it out, and then run it through the router and share it out into all of my socials, and do that like in seconds, right? Or minutes, however long it takes. That's what N8Ns do. That's what these sort of connector type tools do. And all of the AIs platforms, the LLMs now are going, why do you need to leave us to go do that? Right. So now they're the next levels, they're building them in. So they're trying to sort of kill that other step that's needed. And as Chris knows, being the guy that in this group that kind of leads all of that, Then there is Lindy's and stuff like that, where you just talk to it and it builds it for you. And N8N has just added that in. They're trying to play catch up on the other side because nobody wants to go out of business. So everybody's kind of doing this. And for the rest of us, you just got to keep up a little bit. If you learn something new, see what's available and try the latest things out and just play with them. Just kind of have fun and make a mess and see what happens. And that you will learn a little bit more and a little bit more every step.
Or
100%.
Don't do any of that and just call on the nerds in us that can do that for you. So
exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of which, have y'all played with the agent builder yet? On any of that?
Not yet. That's a this weekend plan for me.
Yeah. I started playing with it this morning. Because it's literally just brand spanking new this week, right? That they rolled it out. And I started looking at it. They've got a few templates in there. But I think the power of it is the MCPs, right? When you click in there and you look at the MCPs that are available right now, there's quite a few, and you can connect to any of the other ones. And we've mentioned this. If you're not a geek like us, MCPs are basically connectors to other, services like Zapier or Canva, let's say, or Gmail or Outlook or whatever, right? So they're building all of these things into that right here. What I am seeing though is that you're going to have to program something on top of it, right, to actually get it to run. So it's not a straight up N8N killer. I think you have to build it into your own application, I think, is the way that they're going with these things. Okay. So if you think of it in terms of like high level, high level, if you run a workflow, you could probably call one of these agents to do a specific task and then come back to it, kind of a thing. And it could be a multi-step task, not just a singular, hey, go do this thing. It might have, say, go here, and then it's going to connect to 5 different MCPs to gather that information and bring it all back to you, kind of a thing. So it's interesting, right?
It's a good first step. Yeah. A good first step.
Yeah, it's a good first step. There's a whole bunch of things that they've got built into it, like guardrails and file search and all sorts of cool things that you see in the other platforms, like N8N, like Zapier, like Make, and even in high-level workflows themselves.
Sounds like it's going to be fun to get into that.
Yeah.
I think we've gave some pretty amazing tips today, guys. What do you think?
I think so too.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and wrap it up there then. Like Brad mentioned, like and subscribe. And also, if you know other business owners that you think could benefit from these podcasts too, please share. Have them like and subscribe. We love connecting with more and more people, and let us know in the comments if there are any topics that you want us to talk about in these episodes. So we'll end it there. Thanks, everyone.